In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish bridal dress. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let's dive right into today's video. To start, here is my pattern paper and I've gone ahead to mark out all my basic measurement for this dress. Now this dress is in two sections, the upper part, which is the shoulder to bust, under bust and waist, and the lower part, which is the skirt. So after I'm done marking this, I'll mark the shoulder divided by 2. I'll come down by 1 inch, and from that point I'll place my ruler to connect. Next, I'll go ahead to find my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. I'll place my ruler and I'll draw a straight line at that point. Now that measurement you have on your shoulder, which is your shoulder divided by 2, place and go ahead to mark. Now place your tape and you're going to divide what you have there into 2 and mark ½ inch. Place your tape here and mark your round bust circumference divided by 4. Then connect this all the way up and then connect from that point to the midpoint. I'll go ahead to outline this part of my pattern to make it more visible for you to see. The next step I'll take is to go ahead to mark out my line, my dart, sorry. I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and I'll mark my nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2, which will give me 3.5, which I marked. For the dart intake, I marked 1 inch on both sides. So if you're plus size or you're a bit busty, please go ahead to use 1.5 inches and go ahead to draw a straight line at this point. Now after marking that, I'll go ahead to connect from the bust to the under bust and repeat this at the other side. So after I'm done marking this, I'll connect to the other side. The next step I'll take is to come up by where you want this bustier to start. I'm using 2 inches and I'll mark a straight line because you want it to cover the bust. Then I'll mark back my nipple to nipple line and connect. Now for the over bust tightening, I'm using 1 inch. If you're plus size or a bit busty, use 1.5. Then go ahead to connect. Now let's insert our measurement. I'll mark the bust circumference divided by 4. Pick the dart I have here. That is what I'll replace and then add my sewing allowance. I'll mark the under bust circumference divided by 4. Measure the dart intake here, replace, add a sewing allowance of your choice. I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4 back, measure the dart intake, replace, and also add my sewing allowance. Now go ahead to place my ruler and I'm going to connect this all the way to the lower part. Now connect the neckline. Now you can connect this in form of a tube or you can add like a structured sleeve which you're going to use to serve as a guide to create that pleat, that cape we have round the shoulder. Let's mark the bust dart. Measure your shoulder to waist in front. My shoulder to waist in front is 17, while the back is 15.5. Deduct that 15.5 from 17 and what you have is 1.5. This is what will serve as your bust dart and go ahead to mark. So after this, what I'll do is to go ahead to cut out my pattern and blend out your dart when you're cutting this out. Now you're going to add like a little structured sleeve. That is, you're going to cut out something that is straight, right? Measure it from the front to the back and you add like a little structure to it. And you'll be attaching it from the front to the back. That is where you will now pleat your cape on so that it's going to stand, right? Now let's draft out the back. For the back pattern, I've gone ahead to mark out all the basic measurements. Just the same way we got our front pattern, I marked the zipper and I also marked the shoulder divided by 2, found my chest line. Here is my shoulder to bust and here is my shoulder to waistline for the back, right? So now we're going to start by marking our dart. Place your tape after the zipper line, mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2. After marking that, place your ruler to connect. Now the next step you're going to take is to come down by 1 inch from there and mark ½ inch on both sides of your pattern. After marking that, go ahead to connect all the way up and to the other side. Now you're going to insert your body measurement, mark your bust circumference divided by 4 and add your sewing allowance because there's no dart at that point. Now come down to the waistline, mark your waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake you have there, replace and add your sewing allowance. Now go ahead to place your ruler to connect, and after you're done connecting, remember we went up by 2 inches from the front. You place your tape and you go ahead to mark. Now from here at the chest line, I'll come down by ½ inch and I'll place my ruler to connect. And after connecting at this point, this is what I have, and I'll come in by ½ inch here to get rid of the bulginess at the back of the dress. You can also go ahead to transfer this to the side. Now I'll go ahead to cut this out and also cut out the other side of this pattern. After I'm done cutting this out, you can cut out your darts or you can pleat it out or sew it out. Anyone is okay. Now bring the front pattern. I want to do a little explanation. Now attach that structured sleeve from the front to that of the back. Now after you're done doing that, you can see me hold mine with a pin. Now you're going to cut out the cape sleeve you want with the measurement. You're going to cut out like a cape sleeve, something that is a bit straight, right? Iron interfacing inside it this way. Now you place it from the back this way. Then go ahead to like create a pleat and then take it all the way to the back. You can create a pleat towards the armhole like this, then take it to the back of the dress. Now let's work on the skirt part. So this is what I have for the skirt. Place your tape and measure about 7 inches for your hip point. So sorry, my camera was a bit blur at this side. Then mark your waist circumference divided by 4 and add your sewing allowance. The hip, mark your hip circumference divided by 4, add your sewing allowance. Now after adding that, go ahead to also label. Now place your tape at the waist, measure your shoulder to your waist to knee point, and you're going to draw a straight line at that point. After doing that, come up by 2 inches at this point and go ahead to draw out a straight line. And after doing that, measure your hip minus 2 inches from it because the skirt is fitted. Whatever you have, start marking it from that 2 inches you came up by the knee and you connect all the way down. Connect from the hip to the waist and from that point to the hip, and then take your measurement all the way to the lower part of this pattern. And this is what I have, right? So after that, I'll go ahead to cut out this pattern, and after cutting it out, to draft out the back pattern of this skirt, all you need to do is to add like a zipper allowance of 1.5 or 2 inches for the back pattern.